The workflow module is a collection of components that augment NetXposure's DAM solution into an asset workflow system. The workflow module has four main components: review and approval, asset status notation, auto task, and Adobe Creative Suite integration. Let's take a look at review and approval and asset status notation. Together, these tools provide a system for groups of users to collaborate on assets. Okay, let's go into a sample category of files and start a review on an asset. Pick this one. And the first thing we're going to do is go into the Actions menu and hit the Review option. You'll notice that a new tab comes up that says Review. Now this review currently has no other reviewers except me, the initiator. So I'm going to first hit the Change button and get a list of users in the system and add some users to that by dragging and dropping the name of the user over into the Review area. That's enough. Let's do those three. Okay, now all those users can see a review. Now, if I'm going to start a review, I'm going to go down to the bottom of the page and hit Add. Now, from here, I can type in my comments. For example, let's say, I don't like this file, and I'm going to change the status to rejected and hit Save. Now that is the latest uploaded review in a reproval. So everyone, all the users in this group of users here can log in. They will see the review tab. They'll see the status that this file has been rejected and the notes that they don't like it. And they can also hit the add button and add their own reviews to this review. The next workflow module component is auto task. This function provides a flexible system for automating a wide variety of tasks in the system triggered by specific events. Let's take a look at an example. As mentioned, AutoTask lets you automate certain tasks in the system which are triggered by certain events. One example we talked about was status changing. If a file is, the status of a file is changed to accepted, we can have auto tasks that do something to the file, such as email it off or drop it in a particular folder or anything else really. Another good example is views. These are commonly used variations of a file that are stored along with the asset. Now you could set up an auto task where for every image that gets dropped into the system, we automatically create different views of this file at different formats and sizes that are stored along with it. Just another example of what could be automated. Now, to set up an auto task, you have to be an admin user. So what you would do is go to the Systems area, and here's where you would start defining your match criteria. These are the events in the system that you want to define that will start to trigger an action, such as a modification, a repurpose to a file, exporting a file off, or a notification to somebody in the system. So this is where you could define those tasks, and then you go and name the auto task, whatever that is, and it is stored in the system and either turned on or off. The next workflow module component is Adobe Creative Suite integration. This function provides an effective tool for creative professionals to access assets in the DAM from within the Adobe Creative Suite applications without having to manually download and upload each file. Let's take a look at an example. Okay, let's say that I am interested in working on some files in the City Vancouver category. So one of these here. But before I do that, I want to do some work on a few of these images in Photoshop. So I'm going to minimize my screen here, go into Photoshop, and then I'm going to start up an application off my desktop. It's going to start the same with Mac or PC. And basically, this is the Creative Suite integration piece. It's an Air app. I'm going to get logged in here. And once I get logged in here, I'll be able to, from Photoshop, be able to access a category structure that I can browse through to find the files that I want to work on. So let's say that I want to work on this file here. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to take a second and grab the file and then automatically open it up in Photoshop for me. So now I can make some changes to it. Let's say I want to turn this into grayscale, and I'm going to save what I've done here. And let's see, let me find that file back in my window here. I can scroll through that using the scroll bar. Now I can also click on, let's say I wanted to make some adjustments to metadata fields, have access to all my metadata fields. But for now I'm just going to right click and check this back into the DAM. Now it's going to take a second and check it back in. Now I can go back and work on any other files in any other categories, or I can, for example, just go back and check what I've done into the DAM and make sure what I've done is there. I'm just going to refresh this category and find that file that I just worked on in Photoshop, and you can see the grayscale changes there, and any changes I would have made to metadata would have shown up here. And that is how the Adobe Creative Suite connection works.